The following Toku Podcastu contains spoilers from both past and present tokusatsu, anime, manga, movies and other related media. If you do not wish to be spoiled, we suggest turning off the podcast now. Otherwise, please enjoy the show.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Tokusatsu Podcastu, the best show about Tokusatsu. You probably never episode because I didn't expect this shit to come out right now. We're doing Kamen Rider OOO's 10-year, whatever the fuck this wants to be called nowadays. And hey, it kind of fits, because it was written by the guy who did Ghost, mostly. So hey, it sort of fits. But hey, let's get into everything, right? Let's get into everything, because this is going to be kind of
You
fun.
probably heard me shout earlier what my thoughts about this movie is.
Nobody heard you, Phil.
Nobody heard you because we weren't recording yet, Phil.
Actually,
we're not psychers, okay?
Either way.
So, let me take a little drink here.
Let
me take a big drink.
This movie.
So, let's allow Jay to sum up the movie real quick, and then we'll get right into exactly why I fucking hated it. And I'm not going to fucking sugarcoat it at all. I did not like this movie. But let's let Jay sum up the synopsis real quick, because this is going to take like 5 seconds.
Okay, so the quick synopsis is, without going into any kind of spoilers, it is
the bot already said they're spoilers.
What?
The bot already said spoilers.
I know, but we're not to immediately ruin it 2 minutes into the episode, basically. I don't want to immediately blurt out the big twist ending or anything like that.
I did?
I should have pulled a Kingdom Hearts with this.
I'm surprised you didn't. I was expecting
I should have! Oh, it's too late now. Go for it.
Okay, so the simple version goes like this. It is the current year, and everything has gone to shit. Ankh has mysteriously come back from the dead. As we all know, he died at the end of the show, and they've been continuously teasing us with his revival ever since. But this time it's for reals, and the world is completely fucked because somehow the king, the original O's from the 12th century, who created the greed, has returned, reviving the greed, and is basically trying to destroy the world because evil. This leads to Ankh trying to figure out what the fuck is going on, reuniting with the old gang and figuring out what the hell is going on with Eiji, who's gone a wee bit bonkers for various reasons that we'll get into in just a minute. That's essentially the simple version, is they're trying to stop the king from completely wiping out humanity because evil.
Do you like that synopsis? Congratulations, he told you what 5 minutes of the movie was, and the rest of it's all pointless. So let's get right into it, shall we? You know what? I have to just say this now, because this is not our traditional kind of review, because you know who these fucking characters are. If you're watching this movie, you know what O's is. Don't fucking kid me. You know what O's is.
You're not going to watch this if you've never seen Kamen Rider OOO's.
And if you are, you're a complete idiot.
I never finished O's.
It's not like, say, watching like a crossover movie where like, oh, I never watched the show. It's not necessarily important that I know who these characters are. You know, even though half the times they spoil the endings of those shows. But
why isn't Kamen Rider
that's
Aqua in
semantics.
this movie?
Well, it's because he doesn't exist yet, Phil. There's still
that's
30
also
years
true.
to go.
Look, again, if you know O's, and you should if you're watching this, I swear, I'm going to be completely honest, and I'm going to say it again. If you're watching this as your first exposure to O's, you are actually fucking stupid.
He's right.
It'd be like starting
that is
Star Wars
ironic.
with Rise of Skywalker.
You're doing yourself a major disservice.
No. It would be like starting Star Wars with fucking Rebels. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Even worse.
Like, what are you doing to yourself?
Rebels was okay.
Well, yeah, but
it's not a good
sure
starting
to
point,
start
Phil.
with.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you tell someone who wants to get into Star Wars, hey, start with Rebels?
No, I would not.
I wouldn't. Anyways,
Anyways,
let me get right into my biggest problem with this movie. And I want to start with this, Jay, and I'm going to be and I said it to Phil and I said it to Chad. This movie, besides the big thing that I'm about to talk about, this movie feels like Mouri coming in to finish a show that he never started writing to begin with. Because so much of the show feels like he came in just to try and continue it, but he had no idea what the fuck to do with it. Especially because this movie is only an hour, when in reality this movie should have been... There should have been 30 minutes tacked on to this movie.
Oh, I definitely
because
agree.
So much shit happens in this movie that just goes. Mm-hmm. For example, Goda, no build up to him, there's an explanation, but there's no real connecting to him for when he becomes a villain. It just sort of is like, really, we're doing this? It's just like 10 minutes left. Why the fuck are we doing this now? Why can't we have the king? Which the king, again, he's a completely missed opportunity because he is just Blandy McBlandy evil man who's just, I'm evil. Then he gets murdered. The greed coming back don't fucking matter because they get fucking shoved aside immediately.
Oh, yeah.
And then, guess what? AG, Kamen Rider OOO, the guy we're here to see Ankh fuck around with, he's not around for 90% of the movie. He's not even here. So what the fuck is the point?
He's technically here, but
Jay,
he's dead.
Jay, I ruined that plot point for myself 5 minutes into the movie.
Yeah, Phil figured it out within 5 minutes.
And that is
Oh, trust me, Phil. I figured it out after the first trailer. I saw the first trailer there. I saw immediately. Oh, okay, so we have a new greed, and there's this weird shot of some dude with pink hair. Okay, so AG's dead, or he's possessed by a greed, or he's become a greed again.
So
or
he's
some
both.
shit. And they're gonna have to immediately the first trailer came out. I'm like, they're gonna fucking turn AG evil and he's going to die or something. I fucking called that a year ago when they announced it.
But Jay, here's the biggest issue though. Here's the issue. Okay. It's the fact that all of this shit happens when none of it gets any time to breathe. Worst of all is when AG actually does die. It literally comes off as Mouri saying, "All right, we're done, guys. That's it. We're done. We're fucking the time on the set is done. We're done. We're going over budget. Get out of here. Just get the fuck out of here." We got no time to let that sink in. We have no time to let that hit us emotionally. It just, all right, he's dead now. Bye, guys. Fuck off.
It's not.
That's this entire movie. It's literally just, hi, guys. Fuck off now.
If you
got your 10th anniversary. Fuck off.
If you can figure out that freaking plot point within your first 5 minutes of your hour-long special, you basically have people sitting there for 50 minutes going, when the fuck is it gonna... When just sitting there fucking waiting the entire time.
See, I would necessarily disagree with that sentiment, Phil. I think just because you can figure out a twist doesn't mean that you can't still have an engaging movie. And I'm going to be the outlier here. I did still enjoy this movie. I'll admit that it had some pretty severe problems. Mouri's not a complete no name to O's. He wasn't a major writer. He only did 4 or 5 episodes, I think. And I remember seeing somebody say that Kobayashi did the general outline for the plot for him. She didn't do the actual writing, but she kind of this was some of her ideas that she pitched, and they went from there. I didn't find a source for this, but this is what I've read. But I think, again, I would agree that the length is predominantly the major factor here. With the problem is that, like you said, it does all this stuff that oh yeah, this is standard reunion movie stuff. Let's bring all the villains back. Let's have all the cast. Let's do all the shenanigans for in the old shows. But then they have to they cram all of that in there, and they only have so much time. And I'll admit, on a repeat viewing, because I watched this twice. I watched it immediately when it came out, and then I watched it again earlier today when the subs dropped. In a repeat viewing, it's a little better, just because then you can kind of notice a lot of the stuff that happens. You were talking there with Goda, where him just kind of becoming the final boss of the movie in the last 10 minutes is a little better build up. When you've seen the movie already and you kind of go through again, you kind of start to notice yeah, okay, he's definitely 100% evil. He's going to backstab him. It's more obvious on a repeat viewing. You can kind of pick up on the more subtle moments where he has his more subtle moments there.
But see, I wouldn't even say subtle, because it's obvious from word go. He's a greed. He's obviously going to betray them.
Well, yeah.
So
I mean,
what's the point of him?
Subtle in the sense that they're not immediately broadcasting you with his dialogue that he's going to become evil. There's that kind of general vibe, because Because his whole deal is that he's a fake greed that Cake Boss made. Because, of course, as fucking always, it's all his fault. That he's basically a clone of AG, more or less. Is that he has all of his memories and he's built on his desire to be a hero and to protect everybody.
But why?
So it's... you know what? Who cares? They do explain it relatively decently, is that, well, you need to have a particularly potent desire for something in order to create a greed based on something. So let's build it off of the guy who is the superhero who wants to be a superhero.
See,
so yeah, that's a good angle. But again, I think the length also harms it as well, where they're trying to have him be like a good guy, but not really. And then, like, again, if there was like 15, 20 more minutes though, and he had a little bit more time with the cast where he kind of built up a little bit more of a relationship with them, I think it would have worked a little bit better.
But see, even then, like, what he had around the other people, he was almost completely antagonistic with the births. Ankh didn't really like him at all. And the thing is, if you wanted to do the angle where he becomes the villain at the end, why not just have him be AG's desire to help people to an extreme, to the point where it's too far? Why have King there? What's the point of having the King there? What's the point of having the other greeds there? Especially because only one of them gets to fight O's anyways. None of the other ones none of them are even there for long enough to even worry about it. So instead of Goda being the last 10 minutes, have him be the final boss at the end. Shit, we've seen so many superhero comics do the exact concept of the hero who is trying too hard to be overly protective in turn becomes a tyrant. You can do that. It's not hard to do that. It'd be better than just him being like, I'm here, but now I'm evil, and now I'm dead.
But the biggest thing is,
bye.
Why even make Goda in the first place? Why do we even need this character? Kogami knew. He's known for 10 years that the greed are a problem. The greed are the source of all these problems. So you want to make medals. That's fine. But why?
Phil, it's because he's evil. Because he's evil, Phil. There's your answer.
Well, basically...
That's why he did everything in the show, is because he's evil.
Well, no, see, here's the thing. Kogami is basically more or less the term of fuck around and find out. As we love to previously state here on this show, or this podcast, fuck around and find out. Tis a recurring theme of Kamen Rider. Whether that be Jin or Kogami, you know, fuck around and find out. But again, and boy oh boy, do we keep on finding out here in O's.
But the thing is, why create Goda in the first place? Is it to advertise the gold trim centipede medals? No, you don't have to do that. You could.
But Phil, Goda himself is not even the main problem. I mentioned this when we were watching it together. There are a few things in this movie that make me, and I hate to say it, play the why game like when we did with Amazon Season 2. So, the world's gone to shit. Why? The king is back. Why? Goda is now going to become evil for the last 10 minutes. Why? We had to kill AG off. Why? Like, Birth gets a power-up and he gets jobs out literally in the next 3 minutes. Why? Like, all of this is just like, why are we doing this? Why can we not have a simple little adventure with a reunion with all of the characters that we like? If you want, find out some other bullshit reason to get on back. Doesn't really matter. Hell, we basically get a bullshit reason why he comes back to begin with. So why not just have him just come back somehow? Hey, fucking Phil already brought this up. Why not just say Kogami fucked up somehow? He's like, I accidentally brought him back. I don't know how I did it, but I did. Kogami's done dumber shit in the past anyways. So
I mean, let's be real. You know what would have made more sense is that if it was Dr. Maki, he came back.
That too.
I had a better premise for this movie. Make it like Eji's still a traveling nomad, but he comes back to Japan more often to see his friends.
Nomad?
He's
nomad.
Nomad. And like have the future where it's like, Hina's probably a business owner. She's taking over the cafes, happily married. Her brother's doing well. Date and Goto are working for Kogami, trying to not have it fuck up all the time by Mr. Kogami, and have it be that like Ankh comes back through unexpected means because of Kogami. Watch your
yes, like I just said.
To basically say like he has unfinished business because guess what? Guess who's now back? Giru. The one greed that was hinted at that never showed up that never showed up at all. The original Purple Greed himself. You could have easily tied that knot up together.
Phil, I'm going to cut you off right there because you're stupid, because the show contradicts the existence of Gil by establishing that the Dino Metals were never activated. So how the fuck could he have existed if the show tells you that he never existed?
You could have found a way around it. You could have done plot gymnastics.
Yeah, that'd be even worse than what we got, because then you're just immediately contradicting the show. At the very least, that's the one thing that this movie doesn't do, is that it doesn't retcon or contradict anything that happened.
Maybe
in the
they
show.
could have said that he was in some metal. He was in some of the purple metals, and then he came back. He was reactivated.
Phil, again.
Okay, but
like Jay said, he never existed to begin with.
I feel like, if anything, like at this point, we're just kind of grasping at straws for what could have been. And while this is a fine thing, like at this point, if we're going to be completely honest, I'd say the only thing that I actually did like about this was the fact that this actually fits firmly into the O's timeline. Like it actually makes sense. Frustratingly makes sense.
But see,
yeah, that's that's like one of the few, like I think that's one of the few things we can all agree on, is that it doesn't contradict the show. It doesn't
somehow
retcon shit. It doesn't introduce new element. Well, it introduces kind of new element. Okay, it doesn't entirely introduce new elements out of nowhere. Everything that happens in the movie had kind of been established in the show or the movies. But
where was it established that Ankh can go inside people and grab medals?
Well, they're all greed, so they're all kind of made of the same thing.
I need a source for this.
Where was it?
Well, AJ,
when was this a thing? Look, okay.
AJ.
Look, the thing is,
let me explain.
Okay.
So they're all homunculus, and they're all made of magic coins that they can merge into each other. So theoretically speaking, there's no good reason why Ankh couldn't just fly in there and pull them out. I'm pretty sure he did, in fact, at one point rip medals out of somebody like this was Mortal Kombat.
No,
I don't remember.
No. He did
that in
medals
Movie Max.
out of people externally. When was he able to do that from the inside?
Wait, if they're
he never really had a good reason to, because if he rocket punched himself into somebody, then that would leave what's his face dying. So then that's kind of a lose-lose.
That's the thing. The thing is, I could come up with like a billion little dumb, stupid things that I could say. Oh, how did they bring up the Eternity medals? That doesn't make sense. But the thing is, this movie has problems that eclipse any little nitpick that I can bring up of it. It does. And again, inherently, it's because of the fucking runtime. I told Phil, if this movie, and I know they wouldn't do this because Toei are a bunch of cheap cunts, if this movie was 4 30-minute specials, I think you would be able to do this story just fine. Build up everything. You'd be able to reveal, hey, AG did die in episode 2 if you want to. Say Goda's say in the first episode, Goda's like, oh, I'm just trying to keep him alive, He's was gravely injured. Then Ankh finds out, hey, you're fucking bullshitting me. He died. Wouldn't that have been much better than Goda just being like, oh yeah, he dead, lol. See you guys. But like, and not only that, he says that, and everyone's almost instantly okay with it. The two births have like one scene where they're like, "Oh, you better not do anything. Well, we're gonna hurt you." And Goda's just like, "Yeah, sure." And that's it. He just fucks off. Like, we needed more. We needed so much more, because if not, it literally just feels like Mouri is just like, "Fuck it, throw it in there, throw it in there. I don't care how it fits. I don't care how it works. I don't care how it flows. Just throw it in there." And what you get is such a fucking jumbled mess of a movie that I'm like, dude, if this is what we got, I think I would have been okay with Shu Watanabe sticking with Pokemon.
Is it just me, or does it? I said this to AJ and Chad earlier. It feels like Mouri is purposefully making this bad out of spite. It feels like.
I wouldn't say he's doing it on purpose. I think it's just because Mouri's a shit writer. He doesn't know how to do this. He doesn't know how to write.
I mean, look,
every single time I've seen him do things, he doesn't know what to do.
This is probably the best thing Nobuhiro Mori's written in quite some time, and that is damning it by faint praise, I'll admit. But I wouldn't necessarily say it's like a jumbled mess or anything. It's not like, Ghost or Saber Tier, where shit just happens for no rhyme or reason.
That's the thing. I'm not saying at all that it's like that. I'm just saying that the way he writes it, the way that he paces it, it comes off just so... It just comes off like he doesn't know where he's going with it half the time. I'm like,
I would disagree. I think he does have a clear idea of where he's going, but it's just, again, I think it was a case of, I want to do too much with too little time. I think that's the biggest problem. I think this movie probably needed like a once over by a different writer, because I know Mouri's used to that, is having other people fix his fuck ups, or at the very least have like, I don't know, maybe fucking have Kobayashi say like one or two things. I know she was pretty hands off on this because she's got a whole thing about like, yeah, I'm done with the show, I'm not coming back. So that's fine, and I appreciate that. That's nice artistic integrity. But I think it could have used her involvement more, at the very least, just as like a supervisor for the script, even if she's not writing it. Because I think there is again an issue of they want to do a little bit too much. They want to kind of have, they don't quite go like Member Berries tier, where it's like, hey, you guys remember the greed? You remember the yummies? You remember how they put coins into people and it was like a coin slite?
I mean, to be fair, those are reunion shows. Member Berries are just reunion shows in general. Like,
sure.
Even in the best reunion shows, we can't ignore that that's what they are essentially.
No. And
so
for
that's
the
something
most
I
part,
can't go with it.
And for the most part, it actually doesn't really do any of that. And when it does feel pretty organic. I mean, granted, they do like 3 different flashback scenes, which gets a little grating after the second one.
It's unnecessary, if anything. Or like you have one, but just like overall, it's more or less unnecessary.
Like if they the one in the middle of the movie after we find out AG is dead, and Hina and Ankh are standing there on the bridge, and it's mirroring that shot near the finale. And there's that kind of melancholic callback. It was like, it's weird with AG's not here. Like that would have been a fine scene to have, like one bigger flashback of them kind of going back to like, here's all the shenanigans we had with each other. So again, I'll admit this did have issues with the pacing, and I think there was a lot of it. Like, I don't necessarily want to say it's too much. There is just a little bit too much. It's just, again, I would agree primarily that the runtime is the biggest issue with this movie. I don't think it's like jam-packed with too many things. I don't think, it's convoluted or he doesn't have an idea of what he's doing. I think Mouri had a good idea of what he wanted to do. It's just he didn't know how to effectively utilize the runtime, and he didn't know how to curate his ideas, I guess is the best.
He doesn't know how to write a story.
Well, he doesn't know how to write a story either, but being nice to him in this instance here, because
you're
again,
being nice to him because it's O's.
No, not necessarily, because I think which episode he did, the grasshopper like superhero one. That one was stupid. I've never been a big fan of that episode. I'll fully admit I'm not a huge fan of his episode.
He did like 6 of like the later ones where, if I remember correctly, those are the ones where I'm just like, can we just
those were the episodes where fucking nothing happened in the plot because they were in the middle of a massive natural disaster, so they were just filling space.
See, for me, the biggest thing is, and again, this is a symptom of the pacing and the 58-minute fucking bullshit. I would have rather him either have Goda or the King, because, and this is where I agree with Phil. I don't think you really needed Goda. I think if you had the King, because let's be honest, the King has been built up for, I shouldn't say built up, but he's been kind of like this legendary figure in O's and even a little bit in the fandom for like how fucking long. Everyone's always like, oh, the King, he was so strong and this and this and that. Why wouldn't he have been the final boss? Like, let him be the final boss. That would have been cool enough. Hell, his design looked fucking cool enough to leave it as such. Why not do that? Why do we need... why did we need Goda to be the final boss? Why couldn't it have just been King? You could have still gotten to the same point without Goda. It's like stopping at 2 gas stations to fill up your tank. You can just stop at 1. It's fine.
See, again, I would disagree because, like, I've never given a shit about the King. They kind of resolved everything you needed to know about the King in the show, is that he was a dickhead, he made the core metals for power, and he bit off more than he could chew when he fucked up and he died. That's it. He was never anything more significant than like a plot device, really. I don't really know anybody who built him up. Like, everybody I've ever talked with those has never brought him up, never given a shit about him, anything like that. So I don't really I don't agree with him. Like, bringing him back is kind of a lame idea anyways. Like, I wish they just kind of folded him in with Goda. But I would disagree in, like, making... Again, I'll agree as well that having both the King and Goda doesn't work at all. But at the same time, Goda doesn't really work as he's... Goda works as he's written, but I think the problem is that him becoming the final boss after the King had been the villain up to that point is where a lot of the disconnect comes with you guys necessarily. And I would agree that there's a little bit of a disconnect there, because at that point the movie had built up the King as the villain there when they really didn't need to build him up, because they already had Goda there as a perfect good villain. You could have completely... Fuck it, let's go like this. You don't even bring the King back, just the Greed come back because wibbly wobbly time bullshit.
They already do that, so...
Well, they do.
They
that
already pull
the
a
King.
Palpatine came back somehow, so
yeah,
what the fuck?
Somehow the King return. I was kind of, honestly, I was a little mad about that when I watched the subs, because there's that big exposition scene near the beginning where Kogami's explaining, all this shit that happened while Ankh was dead. I'm like, okay, I only understand like a third of the words here, so I hope this is them explaining how the fuck the King came back. Nope. No,
it's just
him. Literally, Kogami just says somehow the King returned, like 3 different ways.
Yes.
I thought it was going to be like, Dr. Maki's weird fucking black hole that he got turned into was something time shenanigans, and the King got revived that way, and he's just kind of been dicking around waiting to be powerful enough to actually do something.
See,
but,
this is why I said as well, like, if you want Goda to be the final boss, why not just have him, even if you want to keep him where, at the beginning, where he's sort of just a perversion of Eiji's desire to help people, slowly throughout the course of the movie, he's getting more and more, I guess you would say, overbearing with his protectiveness until the end where he does go for all those medals. He's like, oh shit, now I can do it all, blah, blah, blah. That'd be fine because at least you just have Goda. I think you just need one villain. The 2 villains really just doesn't work for this movie because it's just like, well, you kind of can't have 2 super duper powerful beings at the exact same time. It just kind of comes off weird. It just doesn't feel right when you have to do that.
Yeah, I would agree that having multiple villains was a bad idea. Not even necessarily like having the Greed there as well, because they were basically just there to have an excuse to have them come back and hang out with the cast. Like, I'm fine with them not having that much of a bigger role. I do wish they at least got a fight in, like all of them at the very least, but I'll agree. I'll say this much: like, I don't necessarily care that they came back. Like, I loved the Greed Gang; they were fun, but I wasn't necessarily that beat up that they were basically just there to stand around.
They were kind of unnecessary, if anything. In a non-reunion show, I don't think they would have come back.
Like, to be honest,
this is like the movie.
If they came back, they would probably have been suit only, and maybe they would have like one line of recycled dialogue from the show.
Well, like I was saying, like if this was like not the reunion, if this was like just, I don't know, O's the movie fuck core whatever, I don't think they would even have come back.
See, like, I think also here's another thing. Like, it makes me really wonder, like, how much of a budget did they actually have? Because first off, like, hiring basically the rest of the 4 Greeds to come back is probably really expensive. Okay, I wouldn't say, like, super expensive, but it's like, it costs money. Second, like, you could obviously tell that with the amount of clips that they use from past episodes, it is clearly there for padding, just to save up maybe on budget. So then, it really makes you wonder at this case, like, really, how much money could have been used to, like, properly tell a story within an hour. Because looking at, like, say, for example, past V cinemas, like, most of them have been, for the most part, about an hour. I'd say the ones that are more or less kind of solid are probably the ones from Build, debatably. They're not horrible.
I mean, there's Axel.
Well, okay, Axel was basically...
Axel is still the best one.
Yeah, Axel and Eternal are the best ones, mainly because they were both done by Koichi Sakamoto, and they also had Keiichi Hasegawa and also Riku Sanjo, and they had an hour and 25 minutes to tell their story.
That's true.
Also, thinking about how many projects Toei actually has going on at this time, aside from Revice, Shin Kamen Rider, whatever net movie they have going on. Just like, clearly, I'd say, if anything, like, in terms of trying to balance a budget for this whole franchise, clearly they didn't put in... I feel like they didn't put in enough of a budget for this super duper special 10th anniversary project.
See, this is why I mentioned, I don't even think I would have minded a lower budget V Cinema. About the same budget that they would give it for the actual show, if they just split it up with between two specials. Like, four 30 minutes or 2 1 hours. I know Toei would never do that, but God, it would help the pacing so much. I honestly think I would love this fucking movie if it was spaced out between 2 hours. If this was a 2-hour movie, which I don't say that very often about any fucking movie. I don't think many movies are deserving of 2 hours anymore. But this movie, I think if you gave it not even 2 hours, let's say an hour 45 minutes, right? Let's be a little bit conservative with that. An hour and 45 minutes. I think this movie would be so much better because you can have time to let things breathe, especially the end scene with AG dying. I'm sorry, but that didn't hit the way I think they wanted it to, mainly because they just didn't really give me much time to like let it settle in. Like, oh wow, he's actually fucking dead. Oh shit.
For me, it was more, we already knew he was dead at that point, so him actually being dead and not like having a revival is like, well, yeah, you already told us he died. Like, if the reveal that AG was dead happened like right after Gota became the super big final boss, like, I think it would have hit a little harder. I think, you know what? And again, this is kind of getting into like what could have beens and stuff. And I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying to be focused on the movie as we got it.
Yes.
I think again, I would firmly agree that the runtime is the biggest issue, but I think it is definitely noticeable that this is a very low budget movie, and I'm not necessarily against that because ends up being a very dialogue heavy. It's very plot heavy rather than action, because you have about 4 or 5 fight scenes in the movie, which is relatively decent for something this length. It's actually more than what most V cinemas usually get, to be entirely honest. I mean, granted, they're all relatively short and not super effects heavy, so they were probably cheap to shoot. I'm sure Gata Kiriba also took up a decent chunk of the budget as well, as it usually does, even though it was way cheaper looking this time around than it was beforehand. I don't know why they didn't think, oh yeah, let's just green screen the same dude multiple times. I don't know why they always tried to go way too hard with it in the actual show. No wonder they fucking spent the entire budget. Anyway, it's not the point. And I think that I'm fine with that as an anniversary movie, where you don't need it to be super action-packed, because people are here for the characters and they're here for the story. And it being
also, it's 10 years after. Most of the 10-year-olds are 20-year-olds. We can take a slower-paced fucking show.
That's also true, is that we are adults now with jobs and, you know,
money.
Presumably not a whole lot else, because we're still watching Karate Bugmen shows. So I'm fine with the pacing. It's again, I think there's just a few too many ideas that they're trying to cram into the runtime, and I think that's the biggest problem too. Is again, I like a lot of the ideas that are present here. I like a lot of the concepts as they are, but I would agree that they needed more time to flesh them out. Like Gota as a whole, I think he works as he is. Like, he's this kind of like corrupted version of AG, where he's like, he's his desire to be a hero, but because he's not human, he doesn't have those morals. He's this amoral monster. He doesn't really quite understand it. He's kind of a brutal and vicious person. Like, there's the fight with Uva where he beats Uva, and he's just straight up about to murder him for realsies by tearing open his metal, even though that's not supposed to be possible. So, let's not bring that up.
Well, okay, I have to interject here, though.
Why?
Besides that one point, besides the point where he basically goes, oh yeah, bitch is dead, I didn't really see much of that characterization at all. Because besides him, again, those two examples, we don't really get much of that brutal nature. We don't really get much of that basically what you're saying after those scenes.
Well, no,
after he's basically just kind of like,
Well, I think the thing is that, like, he keeps trying to pretend to be like AG, but he doesn't understand how to be Eiji. He knows what Eiji was like, but he's not able to replicate it. And it's a little bit more noticeable there when you kind of compare it to the original show, where like he's a little more forceful with how he interacts with Ankh. Like he's demanding Ankh do things for him. He's kind of being a bigger douchebag. He's kind of like, there's the scene where he invites Ankh into his little fucking abandoned house fortress, which was absolutely gorgeous, by the way, for an abandoned building. He's straight up, instead of being like, his usual kind of trickster stealth, well, he's kind of, he's trying to be like a boob, where he's just straight up like, you're going to do this for me, and then maybe I'll think about helping you, and also here's some ice cream because you're a fat fuck. And again, his fighting style is a little different, where Eiji had a little more like grace with his movements, and then Goda is a little more blunt with his action. I think that's, again, I'm the O's nerd, so I notice these things, and it's a little bit more noticeable again on a repeat viewing too.
I think if anything, like the character acting and the suit acting for this movie was pretty good, if I'm going to be honest.
Oh yeah,
it's very noticeable, like the change in style here.
And I think Shu Watanabe, despite not technically playing Eiji for most of the movie, does a really good job. I think he does a really good job at switching up how he acts when he's pretending to be himself. He's actually being himself, and when he's full Goda mode. I really liked that. I think he had a really good range in this movie too. It's a shame that we didn't get to see more of the real Eiji, but I think he does really have a good spotlight in this movie. And that's kind of why I do like Goda, is that he's kind of like, again, this evil, corrupted version of Eiji. And again, if he was more of a focus, if they kind of had him be a bigger deal, if it was a little bit longer, I think they could have fleshed it out a little bit more. Because
I would have liked to see what we were saying, because besides those two scenes, it was like there's a couple of lines there, but I needed a little bit more to get a full grasp of, okay, this is definitely what they're going for. Because by the time they finally get, like, I think by the time Putotira came out is where I could have been getting more of the grasp of this character, but by that time that happened, he became the final boss, and he just became Evil McEvil Man.
Yeah, no, I'll agree that because of the runtime, his shift into being the final boss is fairly jarring. And again, it's a little bit better on a second viewing, because you noticed kind of it getting slightly ramped up a bit as it goes on. But I'll agree that it is a little bit too jarring because of the short runtime. And I saw a lot of other people complaining about, like, oh, well, he should have been more like a real good guy, and then that would made the heel turn work. But at the same time, that kind of ignores how the greed work was. Like, they don't really have emotions. They don't really understand how any of this shit works. Like, Goda obviously is a special case because he has the memories of Eiji. He kind of knows how he's supposed to be acting, but he can't replicate it. And then
he's a perverse version of that desire.
Exactly. And then
and that's the thing. I like that. I like that idea.
I really liked that concept of, like, he's like what's a good way to phrase it? He's a good example of, just because you're good doesn't mean you're a nice person. Like, he's technically speaking good, but he's still like an asshole. He's still technically evil. Yeah. And him becoming the final boss is just him going so far into good that he kind of spins back around to being evil. And I liked that idea, and if he had more time to build up to that, I think it would have worked better. And I think if also they didn't reveal that Eiji was just outright dead, if they played with that expectation a little bit more as it went on, I think it would have been a little bit better. And I think, again, if Eiji was in the movie earlier than he was, because he had that initial scene where he says hi to Ankh, and then he gives him his outfit back, and then he fucks off for like 20 minutes basically. I think if Eiji was right there from the beginning, and as it starts to go on, you start to notice more and more of him kind of slipping character, I think that would have been a little bit better too. And again, that's getting into more of like what could have been kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, see, like, you could either, because that's the thing, that's two ways you could do that, where it's either eventually the ghost is given up and, oh shit, yeah, it really was not Eiji this whole time, or do it like you did in the movie already, have Goda be like, yeah, it's just me from the start. But again, it's more of a thing of, he is still he is a perverse version of Eiji's desire. It's technically not a bad desire until he takes it too far. You can do it so many ways without having, honestly, again, why not just have Goda become probably just more and more aggressive the more he kills the other Greed generals? That would at least give him something to do. Oh shit, look how he fucking curb stomped fucking Mezzo into the goddamn ground. Oh no, he gave, what the fuck was his name? The gorilla guy?
Oh, Kazari? Gameru. Gamel.
Gamel, yeah.
Yeah, he fucking shoved Gamel's fucking head into a goddamn toilet or something. Do something like that. Have fun with it. Make him go from heroic to
Downright villainous.
make him go from Superman to Injustice Superman, basically.
He goes full. Well, okay, I can't use that term on recording. He goes full on to the law side of things, that he goes too hardcore with it, that he forgets that he also has to be a good guy. Like if you play, like, here's a good example. Like when you're playing like fucking Shin Megami Tensei or something, you start going too far
Nobody's
into the
played
good
Shin
path.
Megami Tensei.
Yeah. But again, I think how it is fine. It could be better, but I liked how it was done. I'm not I'm not going to praise it from the rooftops or anything like that. I think, again, it has issues, but I'm not necessarily beat up over the fact of how they did it. And I think again, an issue I've seen other people saying, it's like, oh, but why was he not evil? Why is well, Ankh is a fucking special case, because for starters, the guy he's possessing isn't dead, and he was also possessing what was his name? Shingo? I don't remember. He's a non-character.
Shingo.
He was possessing him for like a fucking year and a half, so he had that time to build up that kind of emotion inside him because he had spent so long. Goda's been here for like a fucking week, basically, so he hasn't really had the time, and also, technically speaking, AG's already dead, so I mean, is he gonna get emotions from a corpse? So whatever.
Yes.
Still, I wouldn't necessarily say it's bad, but it's lacking, I think, is the best way to put it. It is lacking, but I did like it. I did think it was a good idea.
Again, as I said, I like ideas, but as I told Phil before, we're not in the business of giving A+ for good ideas. We're here for the execution, and sadly, the execution leaves again. And that's the thing. A lot of the ideas I think could fucking work. I think a lot of these ideas, and again, Toei would never do this because, as we all like to say, they're cheap cunts. But I think if they had made, and I know, again, this is ridiculous, a season 2 of O's, both of these ideas would work swimmingly, because you would be able to get the right amount of impact, the right amount of pacing, and all in all, be able to get what everybody wants, and nobody, and it would be fine. I sincerely think, with more time, and again, with a second season of O's, this would be great. These would be great 2 arcs to have. Because why not? Why not? These would make decent arcs. And of course, you can still have AG dying at the end, and I would actually fucking feel something. And the thing is, I'm one of those people where I could know the ending of a movie, but if it's still really well done, it still has the emotional impact that it should. I knew that AG died like 2 weeks before this movie came out. Officially, I should say, because we totally bought this movie.
Yeah.
Like, I knew AG died 2 weeks ago. And I thought, you know what? If this movie does it well, I'm still going to be a crying mess in my bed for the next couple of days. And he just... It looked kind of fucking brutal the way he died. Not like physically, but I don't know, just the way that his actor played it up, how he died. Ugh. But
he got stabbed in the back like 10 billion times and then blown up. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty hardcore, bro. I mean, I don't think it's quite as hardcore as getting shot with an actual real missile to the face, like in the show itself, but I think it's a close second.
Again, I think there should have been more emotional weight to it, because it really is, in the movie, it really does happen. Like, he dies, fade to Hina and Ankh crying, and then bam, right to the end credits. I'm like, whoa, okay, I guess just don't even give me time to fucking soak that in. Honestly, and I hate to say it, but like, for me, one of the, like, it should have been more like, and again, I know Jay's gonna hate this, it should have been more like how they let the whole Tony Stark death in Infinity War fucking, you know, kind of, not Infinity War, Endgame, sorry. Fucking same fucking movie. Anyways, it should have been more like that, where they let you breathe a little bit. You not necessarily grieve, just let you breathe and just let you really accept the fact, oh, he's dead now. Like, dead. Not coming back dead until the Tysons, but he's dead. Because, you know, I feel like they should have done something a little bit. Just give us a couple of minutes, guys. It's fine. It's the 10th anniversary. You can spare a couple of minutes, can't you? Let us breathe a little bit.
No,
they were. Everybody's got to go home.
No, they were busy giving us clip shows and telling us to actually just watch the original series.
And then put the original.
You want emotional depth?
You know what,
go
that's
watch
a
the
good
original
enough
show.
thing to be. I'm gonna go watch O's again.
And then they put Anything Goes on, and believe me, Jay got to hear my reaction to that.
I did, and I don't understand it. I mean, that fucking acoustic cover, man, that killed me, dude.
No, what I'm saying, because my reaction to it was that this movie did not deserve to have Anything Goes play at the end. They did not earn that right.
How did it not deserve to have the theme song of the show play, Phil? Explain your thoughts, please.
This was a bad movie. You play it at the end, okay? Don't.
That's not a good argument,
You did
Phil.
not earn. This is not something for an argument's sake.
It's a reunion,
Phil.
Phil. That's how it works.
So here's the thing.
You're not gonna fucking have a Dragon Ball movie not have Head Chala play after like 15 fucking years.
Well,
that is true.
It's not gonna work.
Phil, here's
What am
the
I
thing.
saying? Phil doesn't know what Head Chala is.
Of course I know
I
what
do.
Head Chala is.
Phil,
What
here's
is
a
it, Phil?
It's the opening theme to Dragon Ball Z.
Anyways,
in
we were
Japan.
saying
Okay,
Phil.
well, you're at least paying attention to the conversation.
You were saying
No,
Chad.
because
Anyways.
I listened to it before.
You were saying Chad.
Anywho, Phil, I guess in this case, anything goes. Okay, they use the theme song. They're able to use the theme
I
song.
gave you a platform to speak, and you pun all over it. What the
I was
fuck,
expecting
Chad?
a subversion, to be entirely
Same.
honest.
No,
I thought you were going to
I
say,
was gonna-
in this
I was
case,
gonna-
not anything goes. Because that would have been way funnier, to be entirely honest.
To be okay, first off, just like I have to, if I got a pun somewhere, I will definitely pun whenever given the opportunity. That's the one thing y'all understand about me. If there's a pun,
true.
I will do it.
Yeah, there's
true.
a pun. There's a way.
Yeah. Secondly, I don't know. I think the thing here that really bothered me more is that 90% of this movie is basically not Eiji and Ankh and their misadventures. Basically, I think the thing that also really disappointed a lot of people is seeing basically, oh yeah, no, this is actual Eiji and actual Ankh, and then I think, like overall, again, it's like what you're saying. It is basically the thing that really kills it here is the usage of time, and I'm also gonna say probably the budget as well. Because if anything, this is just a giant advertisement just to buy the CSM O's driver. For those who missed it, because, people in Japan and America missed it, and we're not getting in America, so sorry guys, but hey, you know what? We still viewed this movie somehow. Well, I mean, to be honest.
I think that's another thing that I didn't like about it. Even though I understand why they did it, I just wish we got a little bit more of the original crowd just fucking around. That's all I really needed. A little bit more of that. If you could have, maybe 5 minutes at the end or something, a little bit of just fucking around, then AG fucking pulls the Sora and just turns into dust or something. Something like that, dude. Something to give us a little something to enjoy the crew again, because I kind of told Phil this, it kind of felt like it was the start of another show. You know what I mean? Like, not of a completely different season, just another show in O's continuity. I'm just like, well, I kind of feel like 10th anniversaries usually should either continue a story or just let us see them fuck around. Unless you're Gokaiger, in which case I've heard so many things about that fucking movie.
See, like, I
If that
think...
to get subbed, that's going to be a fun time as well.
Oh, it's already... Okay, first off, I already saw the Gokaiger, like the 10 Gokaiger special. A lot of people are... Honestly, they're kind of sucking its dick. And, like, it is... At most, it is an okay film, mainly... Okay, the good thing about that is mainly because they got the original cast and they got basically the original staff and suit actors. It's basically like another episode of Gokaiger. But here's the thing, though. Like, that's because just, like, if anything, it works, but it's also not long enough. And that is just Toei doing the V-Cinenex thing of it being like an hour or less, or just mostly an hour at most. And I think, if anything, that's also another thing that plagues it here, because for some reason the V-Cinemas or the V-Cinenex or whatever they're going to call it today, is just, oh yeah, no, this is just going to be a 1 hour special in which we have a lot of things that we would like to do here and cram it in just 1 hour. And really interestingly enough, I know that Jay and I were also talking about this. There are a few ways they could bring back Eiji. Maybe. Maybe not. That would mean canonizing movie War Core, in which
as we discussed earlier in this episode is impossible because that movie contradicts half the things that happen in the show. But
agreed. Second, or it's also, this would also I feel very hesitant in saying this because this is also very much going into what if territory. You might as well just call this special episode Kamen Rider OOO's the What If Edition. Basically, I guess, because looking back at Morty's previous works, he also wrote...
Did you say Morty?
Mori.
Okay, it's not like you said it Morty. I was like,
Morty.
What the fuck?
Morty.
Morty! We gotta write a new OOO's movie, Morty. Oh, jeez, Rick, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
I don't...
Anyways,
Rick, I turned on the long light switch.
I blame my Japanese accent for saying Japanese names, but yeah, Mouri here, I guess, he did write the V Cinema for Kamen Rider Knuckle, in which, at the end of that, it was assumed that Knuckle actually died there, and just like, I don't think many people talked about it, mainly because they don't know. For all we know, just like, sure, it could be assumed that Eiji actually died there. Or for all we care, he just went into like a slight cardiac arrest and just needed to get that. Basically, they could bring him back, possibly. It's a giant stretch.
He was only mostly dead.
He was only mostly dead, or something like that. He was actually just asleep. And I think that would rub a lot of people the wrong way.
Oh no, he's
in
a healing coma.
Sure.
He's pulling a Superman where, like, he's not actually dead. He's just healing.
He's in the North Pole right now, and there's gonna be they're doing that birth V Cinema, so there's gonna be 4 new O's running around, and they're all pretending to be the real one. Yeah,
they're just gonna shove him in the back to tank.
or know what? We accidentally.
I was trying to remember what that was called. I was about to say they have him in the tank, but I couldn't.
No! Fuck it. We're gonna go full Austin Powers. He's just gonna be Nate Butt-ass naked.
In the goo,
oh man, we accidentally
warm liquid goo phase.
We accidentally shoved Gatsukiri bomb medals into Eiji. Now there are like 20 of him, all killing our CG budget.
Yo, O's the Clone Saga. Let's go.
Yes.
But I guess to say the least, though, like, I depending on how this goes, and considering that this is again, it's Kamen Rider, it's one of your big hitters. Maybe if this does like a Dragon Ball Evolution, where it actually gets Kobayashi to come back and say like, okay, you screw this up.
Imagine this. She gets so pissed. She's like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna make just another season just to spite you."
Or like, not even a season, but just like a special. Just like, okay, you know what? Now I gotta play Damage Control, and just like I gotta make new O's content because Mouri screwed it up for me. And damn it, I'm trying to enjoy retirement or the next project I'm trying to work on.
But that ruins her artistic integrity, where it's like she said, well, it's been said that she doesn't come back. God damn it.
Yeah, it does. And initially, that's the same thing with Akira Toriyama, but Dragon Ball Evolution pissed him off, and a new one to the point of where he came back to do Dragon Ball Battle of Gods.
By the way,
and that's neither here nor there.
That's the movie that did not have Chaba. That did not have Chaba in it.
Anyways.
But say the least, there are many things that they could that they may or may not be able to do. Going forward, we do have apparently the birth special, whatever it may be. I mean, to be completely honest, it is just shilling for the next birth TSM, which at least we're going to see more of Birth X, thank goodness, because hey, it actually looks pretty cool. But still.
Yeah, I hope they let the paint dry this time, because good lord, those close-ups did it no favors. Yeah, I think I would agree with Chad's sentiment, is that they have many avenues they can take if they decide the cause is big enough to undo this. But at the same time, it's at the point where anything they do to potentially undo it is going to be far, far worse at this point. Like, they could clone AG. They could make a homunculus out of him. Like they did Nobunaga.
Shut up.
Because that's what happened.
Shut up.
It's a thing.
Oh no, he's made of cell metals.
And then listen, the movie that we've already established doesn't matter. They've already established that ability exists. They've already established time travel exists in this fucking universe. There are
It's AG
half
from
a
Earth
dozen
616.
different ways they could undo this. They could probably just they could just do the he's only mostly dead angle, which I think would probably be the potentially speaking worst idea they could probably do.
Fuck it, just make Kogami a Black Lantern.
Kosho Kagami,
Eiji,
rise.
Eiji Hino of Earth.
Or you know what? Considering this is also the Kamen Rider universe, the O's in this universe is dead, while there's a whole multiverse out there that we can just pull a bunch of AGs from.
Toei is once again broke. Rise, AG!
That would make me so mad if they literally just Earth 2'd AG.
Dude, they fucking did that with Zio, and they're still doing it with fucking Zio. So at this point, they might as well.
At least Zio had the excuse with
No,
the
it didn't.
time bullshit.
No, it didn't.
I
It
mean,
didn't have an
listen,
excuse.
okay,
It was
Did any of you guys
bullshit.
watch-
No.
Jay on
Hold
this
the
one.
fuck up. No. I gotta let my chromosomes run a little rampant here. CEO never had an excuse for Earth 2 bullshit. It literally just fucking happened. Okay? I remember that show more than I remember my own birthday sometimes. So shut up. Anyway,
Well, there was
back
the
to
time,
this fucking
there
What
was
the-
the time with Zio 2 messing up.
Shut
the
up,
entire-
Phil. Anyways,
My
Chad.
point is.
Oh, Jay, sorry.
My point is, they're in a weird position where if they cave to people complaining about them, killing off AG, they're going to make it worse by undoing it. So
Well, I mean, yeah, because at this point, we're basically teetering on that point. Like, this movie, whether people like it or not, it's already so divisive. You're teetering on that point where, like you said, if we bring him back, what the fuck are you going to bring him back for? There's no reason to. Oh, just to, like, retcon him to have a happy ending? Whoop-dee, you should have done that before.
No. Here's the thing: they're gonna make Asia a core metal, and then they could sell the CSM O's driver
my
version
God.
10.5, and then
No.
They're gonna make him a
bring
core
him back.
metal, and then Ank's gonna die, and then they're
Yeah, I
gonna
was
bring
gonna
back
say the
Asia that
same
way.
thing. They're gonna bring him back in the next special, and then Ank's just gonna die again. No, it's gonna be
they're just going to
Hina that dies.
Deaths.
No, Hina's gonna die next time, and she's gonna become a core metal.
Then she's going to become a core metal, and then her brother starts getting weird feelings about her because this is a Nobuhiro Mouri project.
Dude, fuck it. Let's just go full Koyomi and just turn her into a fucking ring.
You know what the funny thing is?
Just turn that bitch into a ring. Fuck
Koyomi
it.
is also a homunculus, so if that's the case,
It's true.
She should be.
Everybody's a homunculus.
She should be able
You're a
to do
homunculus.
the.
You're a homunculus. He's a homunculus. Are there any other homunculi I don't know about?
Yeah,
No.
and that's the funny thing. Like O's establishes that they're all homunculi, but with Wizard, they're basing it off of a magical creature.
Yeah, well, Wizard sucks donkey shit.
Yeah, but if
Anyways,
she's a
back to
homunculus,
O's.
then that means that she should be
Yeah,
able
but
to
why the
really
fuck
rip
are we
the core
talking about
metals
Wizard?
out.
Yeah, but Wizard sucks
shut up
donkey
about
shit.
Wizard.
We'll talk
Shut
about
up
Wizard
about
when it.
Wizard.
I will not
Look,
shut up
look,
about
look,
Wizard.
look, we'll talk about Wizard when it gets a 20-year anniversary special, aka fucking never. Anyways,
Well, it's
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
AJ, that's only 2 years from
They're-
now when it gets its 10th
Yeah, they're
anniversary.
That is true.
it's not
coming
gonna
out soon.
happen. It's not gonna happen. That show bombed so fucking
Well-
hard. You might as well have dropped it on Fukushima.
Well, Haruto's actor is getting popular now, and Koyomi's actress isn't really doing anything right now.
Anyways,
Gee, I wonder why.
so back. So
Well, I
back
shouldn't
to
say
what
that.
we were
She's doing
saying.
projects, but
Back
not
to what we
big
were
projects.
saying.
We're getting sidetracked.
about this. Back to what we were saying about this. Again, like Jay was saying, we're at a point where this has to be the end. Like, obviously Oz is going to come back for superhero GP Tyson and the fucking third or whatever. But that's not going to count because those never fucking count. They're not canon. They're all shit anyways. The thing is, at this point, he has to stay dead. Like, as much as I hate to say it, Mouri kind of wrote himself into a corner when he killed Eiji because what are you gonna do? Bring him back? That's basically gonna ruin the entire impact or lack thereof of the ending of this movie. So just leave him dead. Like, look, I love Shu Watanabe and all, but he's dead. Leave him be. He's dead. There's no reason to grave rob a guy anymore. Let him go play fucking Pokemon with a 10-year-old in the closet.
Let him attack Titans. Just
kidding. No. That's how we got. That's how we got here in the first place.
I know.
Oh shit! No.
He didn't even attack any Titans in that movie. All he did was make out with
Titans attacked him.
And die off screen.
Yeah, he got jobs.
Titans attacked him.
Pretty much.
God, he did. Anyways, I believe, possibly, it may actually be time for our final thoughts. I'm going to give it to Phil because he's going to yell. I'm going to have to meet him anyway. So, Phil, go first.
Well, actually, I'm calmed down right now. It's not I didn't like it. I really didn't, considering I was watching this with I had AJ in the background watching it with me, and him cracking up that I figured out the twist 5 minutes into the movie. It wasn't good. It kind of tainted what I liked about O's in the first place. It was just a ragtag group of people with the shenanigans of our main hero and a reformed evil greed going about trying to collect medals and save the world. That's what the show was, and you basically make a character that's pointless, isn't needed just to advertise a new medal, which is what happened, which is the downfall of the Bravo Greedon special, but that's not what we're talking about. It was the only thing I like about the one thing I will like about
I'm
it.
sorry. I'm sorry, Phil.
on.
I just remembered the Bravo Gridden special and Hase coming back as a ghost, and that made me laugh. I apologize.
Honestly, that came out of nowhere too. That came out of nowhere too. That ghost thing. Can all the Helheim people do that?
Nostalgia.
But this is a subjective thing. I've never really been a big fan of Tajador. I was never a big fan of the suit design. I really like Tajador Infinity. I like that. I like that. That's the name of it, right? Tajador Infinity or Tajador Infinity?
Tajador Eternity.
Eternity. We had too many infinities. Now it's Eternity.
I actually rather like it. If they ever make a figure art of it, I might pick it up.
Next month. It already got confirmed, literally this morning at the time of this recording, that yes, it is coming. Yes, they are going to be giving more details next month. More than likely either going for pre-order on Premium Bandai, or it might be, I guess, a mass release, but I highly doubt that considering the nature of figure arts. But more or less, yes, it is coming, so pre-order that while you can.
I might have to.
I mean, Chad,
Continue,
I mean, what more details are they going to give? Oh my god, his arm moves.
he comes with the dead body of Eiji.
Oh my god, wouldn't that be so
That
fucked
would
up?
be.
It just comes with a corpse.
Anyways, other than that, it was fine. No, actually, I wouldn't even say it was fine. Honestly, it wasn't good. I didn't like it. It made me angry for a bit, and they got entertainment out of it. So yeah, it's not a good movie.
Chad.
Okay, so I guess a little bit of a story time for mine. Imagine, I guess, basically exiting middle school / entering high school little babby Chad back in the yesteryears of 2012. Barely found out about Kamen Rider, or I guess was reintroduced into the franchise. Got into the middle of O's for some reason. Saw the finale. Saw that Ankh died. And then eventually Chad went to rewatch O's from the beginning. Or just watch O's from the beginning. And also, then again, it wasn't even my first season. But anyways, coming, I guess, to this 10 years later and seeing this movie overall, I feel that this is, well, what haven't we said about it? It is basically a movie with fascinating ideas, certainly. but executed horribly, and also not given enough time and budget, considering the fact that we had like 3 different like moments for clip scenes, and Gatakiriba killing the budget again. I mean, when is that ever not? And I think if anything, I feel largely disappointed because at first when I saw this, I saw it unsubtitled. There were a few holes that honestly I was kind of lost on, but then again, like after seeing this subtitled, I feel more or less disappointed and also slightly conflicted because overall it had good ideas. Yes, this fits into the O's timeline. However, there's only so much nostalgia can really do here. And considering the fact that we have nostalgia in the wrong places trying to boost emotional moments rather than actual like letting the cast and story bring you back to said nostalgia is really where it bothers me. It is not Eiji and Ankh. It is basically everyone. They got frigging Shintaro, or they got Goto's actor back. I'm forgetting the dude's name. Like, they got Goto's back mainly after the fact that he hasn't been in Kamen Rider for a good amount of years. And overall, whichever step they go from here on out, for anniversaries especially, and considering that O's is definitely a part of, like, the trinity, I guess, of Heisei Phase 2, that being double O's and Fourze, considering the fact that we can't get Fourze 10 years after, and, I mean, I guess we're getting Futo Tante, I'm very disappointed. It's not a good movie. I just thought it was mostly just kind of okay, but very much disappointing. And for that, I guess, if you want to watch this, go for it, but definitely your mileage may vary. That's more or less the thing I can only say about this.
Jay?
Well, I think Chad summarized it as your mileage may vary well, because I did actually like this for the most part. That does not mean it did not make me angry. It made me very, very angry at points, as I'm sure everybody here can attest, as I threatened bodily harm to Nobuhiro Mouri multiple times during my initial viewing.
That's just called Tuesday.
Yeah, it was. That being said, I can also admit that this had flaws. It did have issues, as we've discussed. It didn't use its runtime very well. There was a lot of better ideas that it could have done had it had a better runtime and a better budget. But I think Mouri does good with what he has and what time he has, and for the most part utilizes it well. It needed a tiny little bit more polish before it got shipped out. But overall, I enjoyed it, but I think this is going to be a very divisive one for people, and I think predominantly it is because of how Eiji is handled in this movie, and predominantly because he does get killed off at the end, and it's a permanent death, which that has made him so far the third main writer whose death was made permanent and not immediately revived. Well, technically second now, because they ended up reviving Fies, but beyond that point. Well, okay, I'm sure he's going to be the first, like, next month, because the other one was Decade, and we all know Decade's coming back at some point. My point stands. I do think a lot of what's made people kind of mad about this movie is just, I think it's because of the way Eiji is treated. And I will fully admit, I was very upset about what happened with Eiji. But I'm not going to be blind to this movie's faults. I appreciate a lot of what was trying to be done and a lot of the ideas that were used. I liked that it wasn't necessarily a big, flashy spectacle thing like a lot of other recent Rider movies have been. I liked that it was just a big thing about the characters, and it was very slow, very story-focused. But I think again, there are holes in it. It's not perfect. Much like O's itself, it's not perfect. It has issues. There are very glaring holes where there could have been better things, but presumably outside circumstances in this case caused it to just not be able to reach its full potential. So you may not necessarily like this movie. If you're a fan of O's, you are going to be definitely very irate about it. You may not even like this, but I did enjoy it for what it was. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's God's greatest gift to Bugman shows.
Well, Jay's wrong. Anyways,
I knew you were going to just say that. I knew you were going to be like, well, Jay's wrong because it sucks.
Well, it does. Anyways, look, I want to be.
Get a new bit, AJ. Come on, you do that every time.
Jay's actually right for once.
Jay, the thing is, stop making it true. Anyways,
fair enough.
Look, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not even the biggest fan of O's. Jay's the guy who sucks the dick of O's. I'm not the biggest fan of it.
Guilty.
So coming into this movie, I didn't really have many. I honestly forgot this movie was coming out a couple of times. Not gonna lie. I came into this movie with no expectations. I just came into it thinking, hey, it's 10-year anniversary. What the fuck? Let's just have some fun. Let's just throw out the candles. It's 10 years old, everybody. Woo! So I go in and I watch this movie. And I'm this is where I'll say this. A movie should never have me as an audience member try and force myself to feel what the movie wants me to feel. Like, for all the sentimental flashbacks, I really had to try and feel what they wanted me to feel because it wasn't coming naturally. A lot of those moments did not hit. A lot of the member-berry stuff, as little as there was, it was cool, but it really didn't hit. A lot of the characters weren't utilized to their fullest potential as I wish they could have been. Sure, the Bursts are going to get their own fucking special, but that's too little too late. But and of course, the big thing, AG. And the thing is, I kind of like the idea of Goda, and I kind of like the idea that AG isn't always there. But I also feel like you got Shu Watanabe back. You might as well use him to his fullest extent as the character that we know him as. You might as well. And there's just so many little things in this movie that just keep making me say, why do we got to do this? Do we really need this? We could have done this here. We could have done this there. And it all culminates in just a movie that it's, again, no, I'm not going to say it's anywhere near Ghost or Saber or anything like that. That's just being hyperbolic. And anybody who says that's a complete fucking idiot. But it certainly isn't great. It's not great by any means. Honestly, and this is going to sound really fucking bad, I would put it about the same level as I would Amazon Season 1. Where it has good ideas. I like some of it. I even like some parts of it. But there's too many things in it that make me want to say, hey, go out of your way to watch it right fucking now. Especially if you've never watched O's. Again, we've said this like 4 times, but don't watch this if you've never watched O's before, or I'll actually fucking kick you in the ass. That's so fucking stupid if you do that.
And he'll do it.
But again, overall, I think this movie, it's gonna get like a C+. It's gonna get a C+. It's not a B-. It's nowhere near C- or anything else like that. It's like a C+, teetering almost on a B-. I think, again, given a little bit more time and given some more air to breathe, I think this legitimately would have been really fun. But overall, I gotta call it how I sees it, and everything that I saw on this show, that I saw in this movie, that was in this movie, it was bleh. But that's your lot now, isn't it, guys?
Yeah.
Well, it's time to watch what else Mouri did.
Yeah.
You can blame Jay on that one.
Thank you, Jay.
Fuck you.
To be fair, Jay. To be fair, you were the only other witness when Ghost was here. When Ghost came in.
Yeah, and you were the one who was like, yeah, well, we're not going to re-roll it again. We could have. There was literally nothing stopping you from doing like, oh, my finger slipped again.
I gave you your
Fuck
one.
you. Oh yeah, you gave me the one. Yeah,
All
fuck
right.
you.
Yeah, we did.
That
You
settles
didn't
it.
want to do Ghost the first time, and then we got fucking... What the fuck did we get? I
Shangerian.
don't even remember. No, we didn't get Changerion from... It's actually
Yes, we
Changerion.
did.
Yeah, we did get Changerion.
We got it from the
We
reroll?
did.
Yeah.
Yes, we
Yes,
did.
we did.
The
I
way
didn't
you
even remember.
retarded.
I literally don't even remember.
Because I have a better
I thought we
memory
got
than
something
you.
else
Shit.
completely. I thought we did something else completely. I'm not going to lie.
No, it landed on Ghost first. Then we said...
Also, it's Changerion, Phil.
Don't correct my pronunciation. It's supposed to be French.
You know
I'm
what,
gonna
guys?
correct you.
You know what, guys? Just call me back when we get gone 10 years after, and then we got all the Helheim people who died come back as Force
Also
Ghosts.
written by Mouri.
You know what? I'm
Probably
just
will be.
I'm just gonna wait for all them dead people to come back as Force Ghosts.
Look. We're already going to talk about ghosts. So, yes, we're not going to spin the wheel because, Jay already spun the wheel for us, obviously.
So,
It's his fault.
so I guess since I'm in the vicinity of where Jay is, I'll take the train and go find him and hunt him down for Make Us Watch Ghost.
Like you could.
Yeah, like you could.
Oh,
You know what? Just I will strategically
Phil,
do
you're
the
like
deed
5'2",
on another
shut
date
up.
when you guys are closer to me.
It's true.
Phil, you're like 5'2", be quiet.
5'7",
Anyways,
get it right.
same shit.
It's
Anyways,
a 5-inch difference!
Well, Phil's mad. I think we can go now.
See, this is what I said earlier.
Uh.
When they get a laugh out of it, it's at my expense.
fuck did he say?
Well, you know what? The weather's pretty nice today in,
I
here in
I
good old Los
said-
Angeles,
I
California.
said when you guys
Is
get
it
a...
Friday in California?
Very soon. It will be tomorrow when we can use that meme.
Dude, it's almost Friday in California. I love that fucking
Shoot.
I
I
love that fucking Twitter.
Cocker Ranger is so good.
I gotta watch
Today
Kamen
is
Rider.
Friday in California.
California.
Can we just...
It's such a good. I don't know why the way he says it. It's not even like typical English.
You
It's
know-
just
know
the way-
what?
I don't know what it is.
I think I can possibly do it. Today is Friday in California. Shoot.
Aw.
Oh, that's pretty
That
good.
was actually good.
Thank you.
So, you know what, guys? You know what? Let me do something for you guys. We'll do Ghost at a later date. How about we do that, shall we?
Are we?
Want to do Ghost at a later date? Want to push it back a little bit?
You know what? We have to mourn the death of Oz because he was killed by Mouri. Okay. So
Okay.
you know what?
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
we
then-
don't need
so-
to deal with Tenkuji Takeru's funeral yet.
That means though
Ow.
wheel.
Okay.
That means wheel. It means wheel. So let me see if I can find wheel. I did find wheel.
That was easy.
Trust me, dude. I keep forgetting that I have this on my bookmark sometimes.
Okay. You know what? Wheel anything goes. Here we go.
Watch
Don't
as
say
AJ
that,
forgot
Chad.
to remove Ghost, and we got Ghost again.
It's like
Dude, I would
Tenkuji.
actually get kind of... You know what? If we got it for a third time in a row, I think we might as well just fucking do it. Because what the fuck else... Sheesh, man. Like, someone
I
upstairs
think
is
at that
telling
point
You know
we
what?
just quit. I think at that point
like,
we're done.
dude. Like
fuck.
legit, I think at that point it's like someone upstairs is telling us fucking something. Whether it's do ghost or kill myself, and honestly, the second option is looking very nice to me right now.
You know what? We've already.
Listen, I am ready to do both. Well, not both options. I'm ready to do the second option at any given moment. All right, I just need the word. Okay.
You know what? Just let me just also put this disclaimer here. Someone gave me basically the request to do Decade, or asked me when the heck we're doing Decade, and asked me if we're also enjoying Ghost. So you know what? Just a reminder: we do not cater to the requests of the people. The wheel decides our fate.
Pretty much.
The
So-
wheel does not care for the love of that people. It only does. Oh, it's Ghost again. No,
We could remove
Are you?
Ghost
I
from
swear
the-
to God,
no,
Blake.
no, no, no,
Ghost
no,
from
no,
the
no, no.
wheel, and it
No,
would
it's
still
not.
find a way to
It's not.
bring it
Magnificent
back.
Wheel cares not for our petty squabbles.
It is a god amongst... We are mortals amongst a god.
Oh shit!
What?
But either way, yes.
Oh shit!
Is it something good?
Well, technically, this is allowed because we didn't rewatch it the first time we did it.
Oh God.
What is it?
Oh shit!
Oh my.
Oh!
Great.
Oh shit!
Great. Okay. I'm down for this.
I guess we're ready to go.
I guess
we're going back
count
into.
zero.
We are going back into. I think it was Inoue that did Agito, right?
Inoue and
Yes, it
I forget
was.
the other main writer, but yes.
You know,
Mouri.
I could definitely rewatch
No, it was
Agito
not.
again.
Okay.
I haven't.
Okay.
It's not-
I see it.
It's actually been a while since I've seen Agito. I think 2018, 2019 I saw it.
Let's see.
Actually, you know what? Let me see. I want to see who actually wrote it with fucking Mouri.
I have the thing open, so let me get that for you. Okay, Agito was gonna have to look this up because I am looking it up.
I am looking respectfully.
I'm not looking respectfully. I'm looking disrespectfully. And okay, apparently the writer wiki has let me down.
That is a surprising statement to hear. Yes.
I don't know why I'm relying on the. Not sure why I'm relying on the wiki to begin with when I could just go to Wikipedia, actual Wikipedia.
That's true.
Here we go.
Wikipedia. Oh, it's Kobayashi again.
Oh, okay.
Wait a minute. They did 2 shows in a row then?
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time.
Oh, that's cool. Well, we're going back to the Heisei era again.
When it was
The real Heisei era, not that pussy shit that Oz is from. You know? Fucking all that flippy shit. We're going back to when wrestling was wrestling. And we used to beat the shit out of people with whiskey bottles.
we're going back to when Kamen Rider
chairs.
had balls.
And chairs. Anyways, but seriously, I'm going to let you guys know when we're going to do Ghost. Because we're going to do Ghost. Whether you guys like it or not. Actually,
We're gonna
I think I know when we're going to do it. Anyways,
we're gonna need like
So-
2 months for that one.
no, it's not going to be 2 months, Phil. Don't kid yourself.
We're doing a,
Anyways,
but it's got to be a month though. Because it's gonna be torture if we do that.
Besides that, I think we also.
encourage you the same week. Fuck off.
And
Anyways,
besides that,
again,
in terms of Ghost, we also did say that we're gonna be doing literally all the content. So give us a little more time and
Yeah.
slack for that. So.
no, we got to do it within 2 days. Actually, I don't even think that's possible.
That's not possible, no.
During,
I mean, if we stayed at home and fucking did nothing else and never got up,
we'll see. Ghost
if we
Ghost
didn't have to
itself
sleep.
Or go to
Well,
the
Ghost
bathroom.
itself is 51 episodes. That's got to be over 24 hours. Like
Let's
in and
see.
of itself, that's got to be over 24 hours.
Ghost
Do
was
it-
like 51 episodes.
Yeah, okay. Doing the math, that's like 25 minutes, so then 2, that's, let's see, 50, 25, that's technically
Actually,
like,
shit. You know what? I'm looking here, and I think Inoue actually wrote the entirety of Agito. It looks like
What? Then where did Kobayashi come in?
she did like 1 episode. It looks like from
Oh,
because I'm
so-
up to episode 40, and I saw 1 episode from.
Oh, that's right. He did actually pretty much write the entirety of this fucking thing. Okay.
Because I do remember somebody else helping with the writing. So,
So-
I guess I must have been mistaken.
doing a little bit of mental math because I am, because I have nothing better to do.
I
Just
thought you were
mental
going to go
math,
for the
'cause I'm-
Asian joke.
Okay, well now you just did it, so I mean, okay, because I'm Asian, I'm good at math. Or maybe good
It's
at
fine.
math, I
I'm
don't know.
racist.
Yeah, that's fair, no problem. We know.
Aren't
I
we
believe
all?
the entirety of Ghost the series, or Ghost the season, 51 episodes, that would take a little more than 24 hours. But I mean, if we're also going to be considering the movies and whatnot, that's going to be a little more than 24 hours, so that's like around 26 hours, give or take. 26, 27, if we didn't have to use a bathroom, and if we start at midnight, going from midnight from the day before to the next midnight, so...
And with
Yeah, that's if we didn't have to use a restroom or do anything in our lives, but no, we don't want to do that, and why would we want to do that?
If we were literally glued to our seats, we would be here for about 26 hours.
Look, if we were a clockwork oranged into this, then yeah, we could do that in like a day. But no, we're not.
I am all better now, please. I'm begging you.
I was cured.
Oh, my
and
God.
then we'll be saying at the end, oh, I was cured, all right.
I was cured. I'm a new man. Anyways, so yes, we're going to be doing Ghost at a later date. We'll be discussing when that happens because go fuck yourself. But next time we come here, which by next time you're going to be hearing this first and then the mailbag special because that was going to come out this week before O's decided to rear its fucking head in. I'm not gonna lie. I legit did not expect it to be out this
You know,
fast.
to be honest, I can actually explain why we actually got it so early.
Why?
So basically, in Japan, I guess V Cine X are kind of... They get special screenings. Think more or less kind of like a Fathom event kind of thing. Maybe there for like 1 or 2 weeks, maybe a month. But also at the same time, the movie theaters in Japan actually do have special gift shops in which they can sell merchandise where you can get your special O's Pantsu themed face mask because of COVID. But basically, the interesting thing about the V Cinemas or V Cine X recently is that they actually do release the DVDs there early.
Damn.
So basically, you can basically find a Blu-ray of O's at the theater and then buy it if you want to really rewatch it, or if you just want to upload it to the internet because people do that nowadays. I don't know how we watch this movie.
Japan.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, but basically, looking on Japanese websites, no, people are selling the Blu-rays for this movie. I think the only reason why we just get the Blu-ray at a later time, because like it has a secondary release, which is mainly for like the special gimmick toy that they do release alongside the DVD. This case being the CSM Taja spinner with the Goda medals. So yeah, that's how we have this so early.
I don't want the
So-
medals. I want the eternal medals.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, just go by the scanner. But anyways, that's why we have the DVD and basically why it actually looks really good, as opposed to just getting camera quality captures of the movie.
Well, you can't get camera quality captures because then the camera face guy will kill you.
That is true.
Chad,
No more Ega
Chad,
Torobos, they say.
Chad,
So-
are you implying that we didn't pay for this movie legally and are streaming it legally?
You're not supposed to know
Hey, no.
I mean,
I bought the DVD when I was in Japan, despite all of Japan's border issues because of COVID, and got the DVD.
look, Japan's
flew back,
Japan's
and then
border. Japan's border is like the
guys. I have an answer for this. Chad bought it in the future, and he sent it back to us now so we could review it.
But
Look,
then there's
as
a
we-
power-
I'm a
as we
time traveler.
know-
I traveled through a black hole.
How did we watch it?
Look. As we know, Japan's border is like the sky wall. There's just a fucking big ass hole you can walk through it. There's no issue.
Until it becomes
There's
a
just
giant
no
tower.
issue whatsoever.
Until it becomes a giant tower and there's holes all around it.
Well, at that point, I
That's-
think the least
At
of
that
our work.
point,
I
the
think the
alien
least.
overlords have revealed.
Yeah, I
themselves.
think at that point, the least of Toei's issues is some jackass pirating their fucking DVDs. I'm not gonna lie.
Toei's gonna come after us. I know.
Just remember, we're not supposed to say how we watch it or where we get it from, but simply,
Are you
we
saying
found it
should
somehow.
Are you saying we should be careful and watch it like a hawk?
Yes.
Oh.
We should also have the strength of a tiger and also hop away like a grasshopper. Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Anyways,
Anyways,
so making videos about where to watch these aside. Anyways, so next time we come to you,
Commentary.
Y'all,
next time we come to you, we'll be talking about Kamen Rider Agitor.
no, you said it wrong. It's Agito. Agito.
It's a jitsu.
Ajitsu.
It's a.
Jujutsu!
I have to go.
Mask
I have
Rider Agito Omega.
no.
Agito Mega.
I have to go watch Agito with my friend Banjo and the Cyclone Dopant.
You can't call this Kamen Rider. He doesn't say ectophase.
Oh yeah, sure, dude.
Hunshin, guys, Hunshin.
Master Rider's on the wheel. No. Oh, that's right. We're not gonna watch. Dude, thank God we're not gonna watch the Toku subs. Oh, fuck off.
What are you talking about? We have to watch the I almost said the illegal. The
They might as well
upload
be.
of the show.
They should be fucking illegal. Hunshin.
They also did Fies as well, and then apparently they called Orphanox something else. I forgot what they did though.
They call them, instead of Orphanox, it's like Orphanox or something like that.
No. It was actually noticeable.
Oh wow. Both Binox. Again, okay. For real though, we'll see you guys for Ajitu.
Ajitsu Mega.
with our favorite wife beater. See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Later.
All right, and